Hey, thanks for clicking on my video. Seb Heslo here. And what is the best mining pool? Like, which one do you choose? There are so many. Well, one way to decide which one you want to get is to check the latency to these different pools. And the reason for why we'd want to do that is because the lower the latency to the pool, the less stale shares you're gonna get. And if you want to learn more about how that all works, I have a video about what causes stale and rejected shares. But in short, if you have a very sort of fast ping time, as it's called, to the pool, that means you're gonna get a lot less stale shares, which means you're gonna get more coin because you get paid per share, right? So what I've found is a tool built by the people behind the 2Miners pool that lets you check your ping time through Stratum to any pool address that you want. And thank you so much to Blind Run from the Son of a Tech YouTube channel who, I found this through. He made a video about this. So what we're gonna do today is I'm just gonna try that tool out and see what we get. So yeah, let's get to it. So this here is the tool. It's called stratum-ping by 2Miners and it's on GitHub. You can download it for free. I'll have a link to it in the description as well. But as always with this, this is a program you install on your computer and you have to make the decision for yourself if you think this is safe or not, So after you download it, you get something like this. It's an executable, the README file, the license, and then a couple of presets. There's one for 2Miners and one for Ethermine. And basically how it works is you take one of these batch files, like the Ethermine, right? Right click on that, edit, and then in here, you just put the server address for the pool that you want to test the ping of and the port for that pool. So for example, we got Ethermine here, and the way I found those numbers was I just went to Ethermine's website, right? I just click on start mining up here, and then it gives you the different server addresses here, which I'm on the European one because I'm in Europe, and then you just pick the Stratum port here, and so you just add that to a batch file like this. So now if I just run this batch file by double clicking on it, you can see it starts pinging Ethermine here, and then it gives you the results here. So it seems for me the sort of average time I got was 41 milliseconds to Ethermine. And what we want is as low a number as possible there. So I figured I'm going to be testing two different things with this tool today. The first thing I'm going to test is, does cable length matter? Like, is it much better to have a very short Ethernet cable and have your rigs hooked up like very close to your internet router? Or does it not really matter? Can you have like a 20-meter cable and that doesn't really affect your ping time to the mining pool servers, right? And the second thing, and the more important thing, is I'm gonna try pinging just a bunch of different mining pools. I'm gonna try Flexpool, Ethermine, F2 pool, I'm gonna try 2Miners and so on, right? And we're gonna see which one of them has the shortest ping time for me. Of course, the result will be very, very different for you. I hope you understand this, right? Like, what is the like the server with the closest ping time for me won't necessarily be the same for you. You understand that, right? Because we don't live in the same house, right? Okay, good. So up there is where internet comes into my house, and then it travels all the way up and around down here through this black cable here that comes down here and then goes in this massive long spiraled wire here up and into this Ethernet hub, from which there's then running another really long cable here, all up here following this white cable that goes all the way over here and is all rolled up over here as well, and then is finally plugged into the rig here. So I reckon that's a good almost 50 meters of cable or something before it actually reaches the rig. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug this end of that Ethernet cable into the little like ping testing device that I've set up, which this is the little like computer I'm testing this on, by the way. It's one of those like little mini PCs. And then what I'm gonna do after testing that and getting those numbers is I'm gonna take that and using just a super short cable, plugging that straight into the router up there and see if we get any sort of difference in our ping times. So yeah, let's start that now. All right, so I got the super long Ethernet cable from way over in there, and I've plugged that into the little test PC here. So now let's run the Ethermine preset again. Let's see what ping times we get here. All right, so it seems our average was about 37 milliseconds. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run it a few more times just to get sort of like a bigger average than this, and then I'll let you know what I got. All right, so I've run it about 10 times on the long cable now, and I'm getting between 36 to 37.5-ish each time. So that seems to be the ping for Ethermine with the long cable. So let's unplug the long cable and let's plug the short cable in, see if we get any sort of difference there. All right, so I plugged the little mini PC in to the router, and look how this cable, it's so short that it actually is hanging from the router now. So that's the shortest it can get basically. So let's see if that makes any sort of difference now. Let me close this and run it again. I mean, 35.8, it's a little bit better, but not by much. I'm gonna run it a few more times and then I'll tell you the results. All right, so honestly, it doesn't seem like the cable length made much of a difference at all. We're still getting between like 36 to 37.5. So, I mean, that's good in a way. That means if you need to use long Ethernet cables, that doesn't really make a big difference. And actually, let's do a fun little test. Let's try Wi-Fi. All right, guys, so this is why we say don't use Wi-Fi if you can avoid it. Same pool, just 10 seconds later, we're now at 40.5. I mean, that's a 10% difference in ping time, you know, going from about 36.5 to 40.5. All right, but let's move on from this and let's start trying different pools instead, because that's what I'm the most interested in. Like, which pool has the best ping time for me personally? All right, so I've made this batch file that tests 6 different pools, and what you can do is you can just list them all in a row like this, and it will test one after the other. Now you can see for some of them you have to make a few changes. Well, actually only for Hiveon in this case, but if you try other pools than what I have here, you might need to make some different changes too. But for that you need to type this little -t stratum1, which just changes it from stratum2 to stratum1. There are a couple of other changes you can do with like code like this. So if that's all like in the readme file for this little program. So if you're having trouble connecting to one of the pools, just try that. But yeah, let's run all of these pools and see which one has the best ping time for me. All right, so let's run this thing in 3, 2, 1. All right, so we're starting with miningpoolhub here. And the average for that was about 21.5. Now we're moving on to F2 pool, which, oh, that's about 46 milliseconds. Ooh, then we got Hiveon. Hiveon does not look so good at 50. And then we got Flexpool, which, okay, Flexpool is pretty good at 28. And then we got Ethermine again, which, you know, that's it's gone down by 1 millisecond actually to 35. And then finally we got 2 miners, which is at around 27. Okay, that's interesting. So just from this first test, the best ones are 2 miners, Flexpool, and I guess miningpoolhub. I'm gonna run this test a few more times and get back to you with the results. Alright, so I've run the test about 25 times or something now, so I think I've got a pretty good idea of sort of what's going on with the different pool and the ping time to the different pools now. So sort of like consistently, both 2 miners and Flexpool have been like the lowest in the bunch, as has miningpoolhub, except not consistent at all, because when it's good, it's better than all of them. However, all of a sudden it will give me an average of like 200 milliseconds out of nowhere, as well as one time it just did not even work. Like it just would not return a signal, like just like if it was, you know, the server was down or something. And that's just within me testing it of like a 15-minute period, which like what you want is a stable and fast connection, right? So if the pool goes like down and up and down and up and stuff, like that's not good at all. So with like consistent results, the best ones seem to be 2 miners and Flexpool for me. Ethermine is pretty good as well, not as good at around 37, but still, you know, decent. F2 pool is a little bit slower again than that, and then in sort of coming in right behind that is Hiveon at around between like 45 and 50 milliseconds, which I guess isn't great. I mean, especially comparing to something like Flexpool, which is basically half of that. Alright, so that has been a very interesting experiment, if you ask me. I was surprised to see that the Ethernet cable length didn't really matter that much, and seeing the ping time to other pools like Flexpool and 2 miners has actually made me reconsider. Like, I'm on Ethermine right now, which was pretty good. It was around like the middle of the bunch for ping time. But it makes me think if maybe I should switch to Flexpool. Maybe I will actually. Maybe I will. But yeah, before we wrap up, I just want to say, of course, there are also other factors to picking your mining pool other than ping time. Like, what's the payout method? You know, you want to pick a payout method that suits you. You know, then there are other factors as well. You know. But yeah, if this video has been helpful or informative to you, then please give the video one of these. I'd really appreciate that. And what you gotta do now is just click on one of the videos on the screen here, because this video is over. You can also click the picture of my face to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. But yeah, go click on that next video and I'll see you there. Goodbye. Bye bye.